welcome back to Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios, the library. I turned away from my microphone halfway through me saying that.
You were fine. You were doing great.
So weird. Welcome back to the show, everybody. As you can tell by my lovely sultry tones in my voice, I am better. I'm not nearly as sick as I was last week, which is good. So TC, hello TC. How you doing?
Hello,
TC?
Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Good to be back.
You think by episode 50 I would have gotten this intro down?
Yeah.
And
episode
I haven't.
50. We are on episode 50, Jeff.
Isn't that insane?
That's pretty great, and I'm happy we've done it.
I'm very happy we did it too, and it was funny. So the beginning of this week's movie, which by the way, episode 50, we watched the 2010 animated film Tangled.
Tangled, that's right. If you're just joining us for the first time, what we were doing is we were watching every movie in the Disney Animation Studios library, which is a very specific grouping of films, which started with Snow White, goes all the way up to currently to Moana, with Wreck-It Ralph 2 coming out in November. But this list is only going to go up to Moana at this point in time.
Yeah, at this point
Tangled,
it is.
But you're saying, beginning of Tangled,
segue into going. The beginning of Tangled, I had completely forgot about this as much as I have seen Tangled and enjoy Tangled. Spoilers for this episode. I had forgotten that the Disney Animation Studios library, the Disney Animation Studios logo shows up at the beginning. The little, steamboat wheels. Yeah. And I had forgotten that they had done a special one for this one to commemorate. That's commemorize. Jeff, stop making up words. Thank you, future Jeff. But to commemorate the fact that this was the 50th film, and it had like a 50th animated feature on it, and there's a part of me that sits there going, "It's only 50? That's not right." Forgetting that. Well, yes, that, it is only 50. But for as long as these movies have been going, and that we're only at 50, like how is there not more than 50? But then
it's a very specific library,
right? And then it made me think about our podcast and realize that we've done 50 of these episodes. Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think that we've been doing it for so long.
This has been a lot of fun. And you bringing that up actually lends to my memory of seeing this film for the first time, if I may segue into that. Because
yes, please.
I remember sitting there. I remember that logo coming up. And as soon as 50 hit, I had the same thought right there in the theater going, there's been 50 of these? Have I seen all 50 of these? And that, not only that logo itself, but Tangle itself, by the end of it, motivated me to seek out the entire library of Disney movies and watch them, which thus led to me suggesting this as a podcast anyway, that led to this podcast. But it was sitting there and watching that 50th logo come up that made me wonder if I had seen all 50 of these. And honestly, I don't think any normal person has seen all 50 of the Disney movies.
No,
Disney fans have. Disney
fans have. Yeah. Disney fans have. But if you're not a Disney fan, you're not going to seek out a lot of the movies that we found.
Melody
and
Time and Make Mine Music. No way. Yeah.
Because why would you? Like, honestly, if you're not a Disney fan, if you're not like a diehard, or if you're not, happening to do a podcast like this one, you're not going to do that. And what makes me sit and what I start thinking about is that the average person doesn't realize that Disney animation, the Disney Animated Studios, is a different thing and a different beast than like the Pixar thing, or like Pixar or Disney as a whole. So I wonder how many people saw that 50th animated feature and went, "There's more than 50.
Yeah, more.
What are you talking about?
I have an entire shelf of Disney, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's because of that specific, and really it's because of that logo again, like being inspired to look at the list to see what the list was and to see things like Goofy Movie not being on there, and Song of the South not being on there, which that goes all the way to our very first episode, and I have constantly had to tweet people about this Nightmare Before Christmas and the straight to DVD sequels. Like there are movies that aren't on this list, and really we're kind of on a tangent about this. Let me continue my memory if you will allow me to.
I shall indulge your continuing.
Okay. I had seen Princess and the Frog. I loved Princess and the Frog, as we mentioned last week in my discussion of how much it meant to me. With Tangled, I had only seen one preview for Tangled. And I'm
Okay.
sure there were more than a few. Maybe there were probably TV spots, but who watches TV anymore? I only watch stuff on streaming. And even back then, I had cut the cord. I'd only seen one advertisement for Tangled, and I didn't like it. I did not like the advertisement I saw because they had used a Pink song. Not that I don't like Pink, but Pink and Disney movie didn't mesh in my mind. It felt very DreamWorks. It felt very un-Disney.
Right.
So I had a little bit of reservation going into seeing this movie. And one of the big reasons was I was disappointed that it wasn't going to be a musical. And I sat in their theater, and the movie starts, and Flynn starts talking, and I'm kind of arms crossed going, okay. And then Mother Gothel shows up for that flower, and she starts singing. And I literally sat up in my seat. I literally sat up and went, in my head, said, wait, this is a musical? I had no idea that Tangled was going to be a full-fledged musical until Mother Gothel started singing. And that, in that instant, changed everything about my demeanor and about my viewing pleasure. And I was so on board. I know that might seem strange that it was, flower glowing bright, like that would be what clicked in my head. But as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm in, because Princess and the Frog was awesome. This is going to be awesome. Let's do this.
Well, and that's the thing, is because at this point if you were watching these films when they were first coming out, like if you had watched Chicken Little and you'd watched Bolt and Meet the Robinsons, excuse me, we had 3 films in this library, or 3 animated or CG, computer animated films that weren't musicals, that were the quote unquote like modern film, animated film, which was just pop songs played over top of the film. Chicken Little did really well by picking certain songs that invoked the emotion of the characters and those spots of the film. But
Sure.
Bolt just had Bolt only had one song, really. It was the montage in the middle.
Yeah, it was their Pixar-esque song.
Exactly. And so you kind of had that, and there's going into this film, I would have been the exact same way. I would have been like, oh, this is okay. This is just going to be exactly like those other ones. They're going to play a couple pop songs, and that's it.
I really thought it was just going to be this cynical, sarcastic, Shrek-like fairy tale where it's pop songs and mugging to the camera. And I was so endlessly happy with how it so wasn't that.
Right. So we'll talk a little bit about the music, since we're kind of hitting that spot.
Yeah, we can jump into the music. Yeah,
I love the music in this movie.
Oh, dude, Alan Menken. It's funny because we were like Princess and the Frog. That's how you send off 2D. Home on the Range is not how you send off Alan Menken.
Exactly. This is him getting his getting not payback necessarily, but this is him getting his
redemption.
Chance to his redemption. Thank you. Because the score, the normal score in this movie is great and epic and and fun, but the songs in this film are just I love them. They are so Broadway in style. I mean, Mother Knows Best is such a Broadway song. When Will My Life Begin? When Will My Life Begin has a modern pop song tone to it and quality. It's something you would just hear on the radio, kind of. But the story that happens, the exposition that happens in it is so Broadway. It's so here's the opening song of the show, and here's the character introducing herself and. But oh man,
Wyatt agrees with you on Facebook. He had dropped a message saying that he can't think of one song in this movie that he doesn't like. Mother Knows Best is a great villain song. We'll get back to that. I've Got a Dream. Oh, I love that song so much.
I've Got a Dream is brilliant, and the people behind it too. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the cast later. But the people who are in this movie is fantastic. But we'll come back to that.
And it's interesting because it does have a Broadway feel to it. This overall movie, in terms of the music, certainly has a Broadway quality to it, but not I don't know. There's not a sense of a musical like Princess and the Frog. Princess and the Frog follows very traditional musical beats. No pun intended. But plot structure, character structure, it follows a very musical styling, right? And though the music of Tangled mixes a little bit of genre, I know Menken was inspired by 1960s pop music for how he rooted a lot of the music. It doesn't. I don't feel like it has an alienating quality that something like Princess and the Frog could have, or if you want to go back a little further to Hunchback of Notre Dame being far too Broadway, far too Andrew Lloyd Webber. Princess and the Frog was a nice, fond farewell in a way to the more traditional Renaissance musical, and Tangled is an introduction to a much more modern and accessible musical. Both have the Broadway qualities to them, but and I'll get into the language of what this movie is doing versus what has come in the past later. But yeah, the music in this. Let's talk villain song.
Mother Knows Best is such a good villain song.
Yes,
because it hides itself as of being the villain song.
Mm-hmm. It's like, unlike any villain song before, because it's not it. You know what the true villainy of Mother Gothel is? Her passive aggression. that is her. If she has any quality that sets her aside from any villain before, because she's a villain. She is a villainess. She is a villain. Selfish. She is vain. She kidnapped a baby. She is evil, right?
Yep.
But her passive aggression is just on point.
But I love her. I love the song. I love the song. I love the song because it doesn't become. I'm just repeating myself at this point.
That's fine.
It doesn't become a villain song fully until the reprise of it.
Yes, yeah. And there's two
because
reprises.
Because it's slower. It's and the reprise has a because that's pretty much at the point of the film where she even makes the comment. She's like, "Okay, so you want me to be the villain, or you want me to be the bad guy?"
The villain,
yeah. And it's that's the point where she, even though we know she's the villain, she kind of puts herself out there and embraces the fact that she's, or comments on the fact that okay, I'll be the bad guy then, and even her
she drops
song
all that pretense.
Yeah, and then her song becomes the villain song, quiet and slow, but that's a brilliant. I'm happy listening to Mother Knows Best. I'm enjoying this, not because it's a villain song, but it's a good song. It's fun it's funny and it's entertaining. It's quirky and it's got a good melody to it, and it sounds very much so kind of like a Roger or Hammerstein, like a Rodgers and Hammerstein-esque musical or something from the 60s. It definitely felt like an older style musical song. That is like a Mary Poppins song or something like that. I'd have to really dive into the little bits and pieces at another time to figure out what makes it feel like that for me. But it does, and it's so good, and you find out so much about the character because she's, and why Rapunzel, after all these years, still believes her. Because really, Rapunzel is just trusting the crap out of Mother Gothel.
It's the only person in her life she's ever known. How could she? Even the books she has aren't even narrative books. She's reading geometry and art, right?
Right.
So she has no point of reference of anyone else to trust. She doesn't know that she can't trust Mother Gothel. It's amazing that it's the complexity of this movie is wonderful, and it goes to the ability to craft very narrative appropriate songs that forward the momentum of the story while also standing on their own as great hits, like great songs. That's because sometimes songs are dependent upon the context of what you see them in, right? Like Hi Ho is a great song all the way back from the beginning. Does that song, I guess that's a bad example because I guess you could just whistle that while you're going along. But I'm just saying, some of the songs, some would argue, for example, I know one of our listeners argues that Mulan's music is too dependent upon the film, that the songs don't stand on their own. I tend to disagree, but I see where he might be coming from. But these songs, the complexity in the narrative of them is great towards the film as a whole, but they also are wonderful songs by themselves. Menken.
Right. You can sit and listen to them and enjoy the lyrics, and not have to rely on seeing a visual. The visual, they all work better in the movie just because the visual just adds a new layer to the song.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like you said, you don't need the visual to enjoy any of his music. You know,
I had a dream once. Oh boy, I love that song so much. That is one of that song's on my workout playlist because it's such a fun, snappy, upbeat song, and it's so silly. Oh man,
it's so silly because in the middle of the movie,
I don't see. It's
right in the middle of the
showstopper.
movie. Yeah, we have a showstopper song with characters we have just been introduced to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are not characters like all these bad guys haven't been in the movie since the beginning. You know, these are characters that
Ruffians
just showed up. Yeah, they're ruffians. They're in theory they're the bad guys. You know, like in any other movie, these would have been all the villains. This is the shady bar you're not going to go into. And all of a sudden, they're all up singing. And the people behind the voices are even, you know, it's brilliant because it's got Brad Garrett and Jeffrey Tambor and Paul F. Tompkins is in there. And
Candace mentioned that's her favorite character in the movie is the old white bearded Cupid guy. I got a dream. Pour me a glass of water.
This was actually, as a quick side note, I did not know Paul F. Tompkins did the voice of that character until this viewing.
Me too. Yep, same.
When it came up in the credits, and I went, "What? That's Paul F. Tompkins?" Yeah. And then it all just came flooding back, and I heard the character's voice in my head, and I went, "Oh, of course it's Paul F. Tompkins. How did I not know that?" For those of you out there, please look up Paul F. Tompkins. You know who he is. You've heard his voice before. Mm-hmm. He's very funny. I like.
Jaws from James Bond? That's one of the big guys as well, right?
He's the unicorn guy, the one that makes the tiny little unicorns. That's Richard Kiel Kiel, I think. That's how you say his name.
It's Jaws from Bond.
It's Jaws from Bond. Yeah, it's the original Jaws, not the shark, the character from the old school Roger Moore Bond films. That's hilarious. Which is just so weird. The cat. Can we? Okay, we got to talk about the cast list at some point.
Sure. Let's discuss the cast list right now because we've already discussed a lot of the characters here. But I mean. We've already been listing off people here.
It's such a strange cast list, but in a good way.
It's another example of cast the right people for the role, not the ones that'll sell the movie, not the ones that'll put butts in the seats. And Reese Witherspoon was originally attached to this to voice Rapunzel when they initially started the production on this. She was who they had in mind. At one point, they had who else? Like Dan Fogel, who plays he's in the Fantastic Beasts movies currently.
Okay, yeah.
He was going to be Flynn. I mean, they were asking like some hot names to be Flynn Rider. No. Zachary Levi and Mandy Moore are perfectly cast. Everyone in this movie is quite near perfectly cast.
I love Donna Murphy as Mother Gothel. She is perfect, and she's one of those where I remember like the first time being like, who is she? Like, I don't know that name, and then I look up, I look at her picture, and I'm like, and for me, because this is how my head works, I went, oh. It's Doc Ock's wife from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, like okay, and then and she's another one. They definitely do. The cast, the voice casting, and the character design is very much so reminiscent of Emperor's New Groove, where you look at the actor and then you look at the character they're playing, and you go, yeah, I could see them doing a live action version. Like I can see Zachary Levi being Flynn. I can see him acting.
Certainly, they went back to old school methods here, and this is we're all over the place here, and we'll get back to Glenn Keane, but this is Glenn Keane going back to standard, which is the voice actors will motivate the animators, and we'll touch back on that again later. But yeah, the cast became those characters, and those characters became those voice actors. Zachary Levi is Flynn Rider. Mandy Moore is... I mean, hell, Mandy Moore started as a blonde pop star and then cut her hair to her natural brown state, right? Like, how poetic is that?
Very fitting for the character she portrays.
Yeah, and a rarity here. I think Princess and the Frog had this too, but I remember hearing that it was this movie was the first time that all the main cast, all the voice actors, did all the singing. They did not have double casting. I
Right.
believe I remember hearing that this was the first time. Took him 50 movies, but that this was the first time that happened. If it wasn't
Which
this,
is
it was Princess
so
and the Frog.
weird to see. Which is so weird to see that, and like because like I looked up the soundtrack. I mean, I know the soundtrack, but like I always look up all my stuff on Wikipedia and like online, and going through the soundtrack listing, and it's like performers, and it's like, yeah, Donna Murphy performed "Mother Knows
Mother
Best,"
Gothel,
and you know, and "I've Got a Dream" is sung by Brad Garrett and Jeffrey Tambor and Zach Levi, and like you're like, oh, they did. They sang their own music. This isn't
That's
like a
right.
voice like a sound like voice artist or
No voice doubles. Yeah.
no. And
I always think of Mel Gibson in Pocahontas, where it's like the voice guy singing from sounds pretty close, but it's the "all of my life I have dreamed of a land like this one." It's like his long. Anyway, that's neither
it's
here
like
nor there.
that's not Mel Gibson at all.
Flynn, Zachary Levi and Mandy Moore, Flynn Rider and Rapunzel are so perfectly cast and such endearingly cute characters. I gotta like we can talk Rapunzel. But I need to ask you first. Why is Flynn likable? Because Flynn is a thief and a liar and a scoundrel. And I'm not saying I don't like the guy, but I had to be critical about this and step back from it and think, why are we okay with this guy from the moment we meet him? There is no doubt that we like this guy. This is
Right.
Actually, I do have a theory about this. Come to think of it, now that I'm voicing these thoughts out loud. But I want to ask you: is it because Zachary Levi is Chuck and he's just inherently an amazing guy? Also, me and him had the exact same birthday.
Birthday buddies.
Yeah.
That means TC and Zachary Levi, same person. That's what that means, guys.
Oh man, I wish that'd be amazing.
What a twist! This entire time, this podcast has been co-hosted by Zachary Levi. Everybody, Zachary Levi. Everybody, isn't that great?
Honestly, if that were true, it'd kind of be a huge disappointment for everyone involved. I think.
What? Why? That you're the
Yeah, like, oh, that's all right. Well,
okay.
no, come on. What is it about Flynn that he's so damn likable?
You know, oh man, that's a good question. I wish I had time to think about that.
I don't think there's any simple answer. Honestly, I don't. And I think it's because the way we're introduced to him, that he is the narrator. He kicks this thing off. It's as much
By
his
saying
story.
this is the story how I died. Like,
And he's like, but don't worry. This is still a good story. Like how damn charming he is. He is just the best kind of rogue, which is not a villain. The best kind of rogues are Han Solo and Zorro and these characters that Robin Hood, these characters that though they are thieves and liars and vigilantes and smugglers and whatnot, that they're just so charming.
and I think that's the answer. I think that's the answer is that you can tell. I think actually, I'll take that back a little bit. I think it is a combination of the fact that you know who Zachary Levi is, and he always comes off as just kind of this lovable, caring character. Not obviously not everything he does, but that's kind of who you know him as because of Chuck. and the tone in his voice just comes off it comes off in a way where you just naturally are like, okay, I will trust whatever this man says.
It's very
because
endearing.
he is very endearing, and it's just the tone of his voice. It's just how he talks. It's the sound of his voice when he's saying stuff. Plus, the fact that it's like we said, the fact that it starts off with him going, "This is a story of how I died," but he was like, "Oh, but don't worry, it's a good story." Like
It's a good story.
You're immediately drawn into, okay, he's obviously not a bad guy.
No,
because a bad guy doesn't talk like that.
Everything about him is likable, despite the fact that he's freaking stealing stuff. He's got what a great info dump at the beginning. Probably one of the most expert prologue info dumps ever. Like Once Upon a Time, and we're getting a Once Upon a Time instead of a book opening up, right? We get the Once Upon a Time. There was a kingdom. There was a queen. She had a baby. She was sick. They got the flower. Then there's remember this old lady? She doesn't come back. Remember I said to pay out for her again. And then it's like, let's just get this all the way, and boom, let's get this movie going. And it's so expertly done and so charmingly delivered. And then when we finally do meet him, he's like, I get used to a view like this. Yep, I'm used to it. It's just a great. He's such a great character. So I don't think there's a simple answer to why he's so charming. I think it's this combination of so much good stuff.
Yep,
And
absolutely, and expert writing, like you said, with that information dump at the beginning. I mean, the characters in this film are just written so well. They have great one-liners. They have great, just it's
oh,
strange because it almost feels real in a sense. Like a lot of the stuff they say. Sorry, I just like 10 quotes just ran through my head from this movie because this movie makes me giggle so much. But like the the things that the characters say, it comes off as feeling real. It comes off feeling genuine. It doesn't sound like the movies of like the Renaissance era, you know, like you watch Aladdin, you go and you watch Beauty and the Beast, and there is a cadence to the dialogue. There's a purpose of the dialogue. It comes off as here's information I am conveying you, not necessarily in a bad way, but just like
more presentational.
Right. That's a good way to put it. It's very presentational.
There's a very natural quality to this, and it doesn't have it's not too modern, at least in my opinion. And obviously this entire podcast is my opinion, so I guess that goes without saying. But where it does,
including my opinion, it's right. TC's opinion too.
where it plays on some modern linguistics and modern language, it doesn't feel out of place like modern references and meta references do in other films. I'm not going to take a dig at Shrek right now, but actually that kind of just, because I said I wasn't, it means I did. Oopsie. There's that passive aggression.
So TC is Mother Gothel.
Yeah. Oh man, is that my no? We'll get back to the comedy here. I want to talk about Rapunzel herself because she. Oh man, as much as I was thinking last week. And I can't help but feel this way. Forgive me if this comes off too. I'm not trying to be a sexist or be a jerk or just be a dude about this. But thinking of Tiana, I'm like, man, that is such she's such a wonderful woman, such a character that's the kind of character I'm attracted to in terms of a woman, right? She's very intelligent, driven, and I know, Jeff, you have an affinity for Belle, and that she in a lot of the check marks in your dude list, right?
Yep.
Rapunzel is so damn cute, and she is just this combination of wonderful things that
I just want to hug Rapunzel.
Yeah,
I just want to
friend.
and not like hug her like in a poor baby type of way. Like I just want to hug her because she's cute and she's pretty and she's cute and she's lovable looking and she looks like she'd be soft and like a big teddy bear, but not a big teddy bear because she's a tiny little woman. But you know what I mean.
She actually is very small when you think of this.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I was thinking of as I was watching this, Jeff, and you can help. I think you can help me support this theory. I think the listeners could help me support this theory as well. Rapunzel is the combination of all the princesses before her. She has all the best qualities of every single princess we've seen in 50 films. In 49 films before her, she has Snow White's goodness, she has Cinderella's kindness, she has Aurora's beauty, she has Pocahontas' strength, she has Ariel's desire, she has Belle's intelligence, she has Jasmine's naivete, she has Tiana's will. And the connection to animals, the perpetually barefoot, if you want to go there, she has all the best qualities of every single princess, and even some of the female protagonists I might not have just babbled off right now. She has all of it.
On top of all of that, she's got real human emotions and doubts and insecurities.
Yes.
Like when they actually leave the tower and there's that montage where she's like, "This is amazing. I want to go home." Like it's so brilliant. So like she's all of those things. She's all of our princesses, and she is still somehow also very human.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that makes her too perfect, in a sense that she's this seemingly this combination of all the best qualities of 49 films before her. Maybe not 49 films, you know what I'm saying? But it's, maybe that makes her too perfect in a sense, and that by not having a terrible amount of flaws, that makes her less strong of a character, especially a female character. But then I would overanalyze it to the point of the fact that it's this morality tale. It is a fairy tale. This is meant to be a parable, and lessons should be learned because that's what all fairy tales are. Their intent was in their inception was to teach lessons. So maybe an overabundance of flaws would draw her into a dark area that wouldn't be appropriate for telling the tale that needed to be told. Ooh, that was a mouthful.
Right. Wow.
Can I get the transcript on that
one? Mouthful. That's all I got. That's as far as I got. And
if she's the combination of all these great heroines that have come before her, I think Flynn, to go back to our conversation about him, I think he's the combination of all the best qualities of the princes before him. He's charming, he's roguish, he's handsome, he's witty. You know, he's a thief like Aladdin, right? He's absolutely brave like Prince Philip. Like he's this mysterious man who comes upon a princess like Prince Charming from all the way back in Snow White. He's not a great character, maybe not.
But then again, just like Rapunzel, he also is human. He has everyday quirks to his personality.
His insecurities and his backstory. I love that he admits his name before he thinks he's going to die, and how. Maybe this is just for the sake of the children watching, or maybe this is more credit to the complexity of the script. His willingness to accept their fate in the end when he thinks they're going to drown in the cave. And he's like, look, there's nothing we can do. It's too dark. We can't see. And, my name's Eugene. People might as well know that. Someone should know that before I die.
And stuff like that just makes characters like Rapunzel and like Flynn just that much more lovable, because now it's easier for you to relate to that character. Yeah, it's even more easy for you to. Yeah. Because now you can see yourself in those types of positions. Honestly, Rapunzel going back and forth about whether or not she should leave or whether or not she should be out of the castle or the tower or not. I haven't freaked out about the fact that I should be in a tower, and I'm not. That's not where I'm going. but I have had that back and forth struggle trying to figure out a decision I've made, whether it's good or not. And 1 minute being fine and 1 minute not being fine. So even with her and in her situation, I could still watch that and go, yeah, I've done that. That's been me. I've definitely had that numerous times. I've also, on numerous occasions, questioned, why is a chameleon smiling at me?
Pascal, let's talk about Pascal, because what a great sidekick. Man, certainly manufactured to sell toys, but they nailed it. He's such a great little sidekick character. He brings some great support to Rapunzel. His pantomiming is just, I love my favorite bit with him. I know it's just blink and you miss it, is the ventriloquist moment.
Yes.
One thing I don't like about him, and I think this was honestly a mistake in the filmmaking, and Aaron Williams commented on our Facebook page feeling the exact same way. In fact, saying out loud the exact same thing I felt, which was he trips Mother Gothel in the end to trip her out the window. Now, granted, she was on her way out anyway, but he didn't help matters. And I thought it, and Aaron wrote the exact same thing. And now he's a murderer. Like that was one little moment where I'm like, they shouldn't have done that.
She could have just naturally, He had already served. And again, don't get me wrong. I love Pascal. He is a brilliant character.
Me too. Okay. It's just the one little flaw. I think the one little mistake they made was that little addition of him tripping her with the hair.
Because he didn't need to, because he had already served a major purpose in the film. He had already been used, so it wasn't like, they needed to work him into the climactic finale of killing her. But
maybe it was this. Maybe it was because did he mug to the camera? I can't remember if he did or not. I think he did. Like he looked to camera when he pulled the hair. Maybe it was him pulling the hair and looking at the camera going, hey, look at this. She's going to trip on the hair she loves so much, and that's going to kill her. Irony. I'm just the avatar for this cruel irony. Wink.
Wink.
That's what that look said.
In about a half a second. Yeah, I was going to say, in about the half a second mugging to the camera. Yeah.
But you know what? As much as I love Pascal, I love that he's there for Rapunzel. I love when he's keeping Flynn in check. I love all that. The duo of him and Rapunzel, that's not the best in the movie. The best duo in this movie that just makes it so, it's Flynn and Maximus.
Maximus
The horse. We have our horse list, Jeff, of all of these, and we haven't had an edition in quite a while, but we have the list of all the horses in Disney movies. He wins. Hands down.
Oh, because he has an arc.
Yeah,
the horse has a flippin' story arc in
Jeff,
this film.
I kid you not. The note under my cursor right now is the freaking horse has an arc,
which is insane. See, so. Spoilers, guys. While TC and Zachary Levi are actually the same person, me and TC are actually the same person as well, which means I am also Zachary Levi. That's the twist.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know. I feel pretty good about myself. I'm wondering when that residual checks from Chuck will show up.
Yeah,
but
well, eventually. It's cool. I spent it already. Maximus and Flynn, their relationship, Maximus's arc, he is such an awesome horse. He's such an awesome character.
And he starts off as in theory he basically starts off as like a bad guy, right. Really. I mean, not a
chasing the hero.
Bad guy. He's chasing the hero because he's the horse of the guard, and while the guard voiced by MC Gainey, while he he's giving directions to his men, and then they cut down to Maximus, and he's giving directions to the horses as well. So he's obviously he's in charge. He's powerful. He is the opposition for our protagonist character, and he's seeking him out, and then that moment where it's like, no, we have to work together, and he kind of does, and he slowly begrudgingly helps Flynn. He punches him in the stomach with his hoof, like when Rapunzel's not looking.
Rapunzel's magic with the horse. She was able to sit, drop it. Oh, so cute, so cute.
Oh, the animation.
But
yeah, go ahead.
I want to segue into easily one of the most dynamic pieces of animation. Okay, I had complained a couple episodes ago that we lose a quality in CG from 2D. Right, that what you can do in terms of sight gags, and there's something more forgiving. This was a couple episodes ago. It might have even been last episode that I was discussing this, but this is just the expert ability of Glenn Keane and his animators and what they did with this movie. The sequence of escape from the Snuggly Duckling, right?
Okay.
Where it's just before the dam breaks. Flynn has to fight Maximus with a frying pan. And it's, I want you to know, this is the strangest thing I have ever done. That sequence to the water breaking for the sword fight with Maximus is great. I mean, even when they're chasing the satchel earlier in the movie where he's on the branch and boom, 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 is amazing. But that sequence of animation and comedy and the cinematic quality of that dam break is incredible. That is next level.
It's almost like they were aware of that of the lack of being able to produce in 3D what 2D could do, like you were talking about. It's almost like they knew. They're like, there's something missing. Because this entire film, while that is a great moment, that whole action sequence, that whole dam break is brilliantly done. This entire movie has just moment after moment of fantastical, just absolutely fantastic physical humor.
Oh, the visual comedy of this is perfection.
Yes. Yeah. You look at this movie, and while I was watching it this time, I'm sitting here going, the entire film feels like they picked an end pose. They picked a frame. Get to this. Because these poses are brilliant. The expressions on the faces, the way that the lip sync is done, the way that they're even their mouths. Because Flynn does stuff with his mouth that.
Hi.
I mean,
This is kind of an off day for me.
Yeah, and it's just little things that we haven't seen before, even in Pixar movies. If Pixar is the gold standard for CG animated movies, and I mean, really, they do some fantastic animation. animation. This movie just blows what Pixar had done to a degree out of the water because of just those little tiny details in the characters.
And this is furthering setting themselves apart from Pixar. Disney is finding a very distinct voice, very different from Pixar. They might be using Lasseter might be utilizing the same sort of techniques in developing these films, but these films do not compare to one another anymore, and that's great. Because Meet the Robinsons and feels like Pixar-esque. And this won't be consistent because there's another movie in this library that it could easily be a Pixar movie. And the Pixar movie that came out the year that that movie I'm thinking of came out should have been the Disney movie. Anyway, the visual comedy in this is likened to, I'm likening it to Emperor's New Groove. In its Chuck Jones speed, it has that quality of timing. And comedy is all about the timing. And this Tangled has such wonderful, wonderful timing in its delivery of its gags, of its jokes, of its one-liners, of its drama, too. Not just the comedy, but the way things are timed in this movie. Even as going back to Donna Murphy's delivery and some of her lines is so expertly handled that, you know, it's like, I'm just kidding, you know, oh, getting kind of chubby. Like, I'm just kidding because I love you. Like, there's a great sense of comedy to this entire film. And that detail, that level of detail goes through the drama as well. It's
right. Well, and even down to just the character placement, the character poses, the character interaction with one another. Just going back to Mother Gothel there, when near the beginning when she says like something along the lines of like, Rapunzel, you know I love you, or something like that, and then she goes, I love you too, Mother. And there's a beat of Mother Gothel kissing. You know, she kisses Rapunzel's like the top of her head.
Yeah.
And says, I love you the most.
Oh, she's talking to the hair.
She's talking to the hair. It's brilliant. Super subtle. I caught it this time. And I went, that's brilliant. Because you think, you know, initially, and even obviously Rapunzel, she's even thinking like, no, she's, you know, oh yeah, she's saying that to me. But she's not. She's saying it to the hair. And it's a tiny little detail because she doesn't, and it's just like her eye, she kisses the top of her head, she kisses the hair, and she looks quickly, glances down at the hair, and then walks away while she says that line. And it's so well done. It's an attention to detail that could have just totally been blown out of the water, missed it.
Yeah. Over at Facebook, Natasha noticed that as well. She had said, watching the movie so many times, she noticed that when Mother Gothel tells Rapunzel she loves her, she always kisses her hair or calls her flower. That's a nice, subtle touch. Good eye, Natasha. I had not, until you had said that, Jeff. Oh man, that is a great attention to detail right there.
That one was so well done. And yeah, seriously, you Google Tangled screenshots and you get a slew of just keyframes in this movie where characters are making so expressive. Like they're so expressive. The faces that they're making, the way that like their mouth is. Sorry, I found one of Flynn talking about like one of his wanted flyers and the way that his mouth is open.
They're just making fun of me.
Yeah, like it's so well done. It's
now they're just being mean. The snappy comedy in this is something that I had wished there was more of, and I think you did as well, in the riverboat moment with Lewis last week in Princess and the Frog, where I tried to get on the boat once, and it cuts to the boat, and then the it didn't go well.
It didn't. I like more of that sort of physical humor, timing, and everything is what this movie is.
Yeah, we got when she's trying to put Flynn in the cupboard in the cabin. Oh my god, when he face plants.
And it's painful, but it's hilarious at the same time. Just, it's that sequence alone, that cupboard sequence, no dialogue. It's just 2 minutes of physical humor. And it's so well animated. You couldn't do that better live action.
No, well, okay.
Like that's the thing.
I would hope not.
I mean, it's gonna hurt.
Well, like it's this. We're obviously praising the hell out of the comedy in this, and I want to go back to talking about the timing of this. There's so many details that make this movie so, to use the word again, endearing. These characters are so likable that with all the comedy in there, it makes the drama of the latter half of this film have so much more gravity to it because we've been with Rapunzel through her journey.
Right.
We care about her. We are rooting for her, and it feels light and fun and fun and fancy free, right? But we know the gravity of this story, and anyone paying really close attention knows that it ends with Flynn dying. So that when the
Right.
turn comes, that when the drama kicks in for that third half of the movie, the third part of the
Now, TC, you're doing math like Jeff. That's
math.
how Jeff does math.
There's such a gravity to it, and it's never so heavy that it's crushing. Like it does not delve. It approaches some darkness with the frighteniness of the fog, and when the twins, voiced by Ron Perlman, love that
Yes.
guy, try to kidnap Rapunzel. It gets a little scary there, but not so scary as we're looking at Black Cauldron territory or even Sleeping Beauty territory. But it does have you worry. It's a very calculated development of the character arcs and of the story arc that when the turn comes, there's some anxiety there and you worry there, but it never loses that sense of whimsy that it has to the whole thing.
Right. It doesn't feel like it's totally out of place in
Right.
like a completely different movie at that point.
But the two moments that'll tug it, I really feel work at least on me, tugging my heartstrings every time, is when Flynn sacrificed himself. Like I'm choked up even thinking that now. It's so silly. I know this is a fun movie, but to really put a lot of emotion into these characters, like to attach myself to these characters, there's something genuinely heroic. And I think it helps that we've watched the 49 movies before this, that I can really appreciate the arcs that these characters go on. And the other moments, and Jeff, you'll want to speak of this, is the lantern scene. It's the culmination of Rapunzel's journey. When she fears, what do I do if this isn't what I want it to be? And Flynn says, it will be what you want it to be. And well, then what do I do next? That's the best part about dreams. Once you achieve them, you get to find another one. And then the callback to that when he tells her, you were my next dream. Oh my God. That's tear-jerking. That's tear-jerking.
Yep. That song, that whole sequence. First off, just to be clear, the song was nominated for an Academy Award the year it came out. It lost to Pixar and lost to We Belong Together from Toy Story 3, which, yes, is a good song.
We belong together.
Yes, we do.
We
But-
belong together. That's my Randy Newman.
Your Randy Newman is like segueing into Kermit. Mine is segueing into the troll. This is how it works. But like that whole moment, that song is a great song because it's got a double meaning to it. Because obviously it's literally her seeing the light of these things finally, but also both characters just like having their eyes open to a new world or to a new future or to this world that they're in now, potentially with one another or potentially with outside of their norm, and things have changed. They've grown up. They've had their arc to a degree. Like that alone is fantastic. The moment is fantastic. Seriously, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Not gonna lie. I tear up a little bit every time I hear and see that moment. It makes me happy, sad.
Watching this movie as many times as I have, I've definitely seen it at least a half dozen or more times in its entirety. It's that moment and knowing what the ending is going to be that really chokes me up, and it's the sacrifice Flynn makes and Rapunzel crying over him that really gets me every time. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment because it lends to that complexity that you have to dig for in previous films, I think. And I think we might be over digging into this, but why the hell not? This movie's so good. I think in terms of fantasy, okay, this might not be the absolute best when you're looking at animated fairy tales, right? One would argue it might, I could see for the argument that no, this isn't the greatest of these adaptations, right? But the tradition is gone. Okay, we are in a new cinematic era of these kind of films, of telling these kind of fairy tales. And it's not the cynical meta version of a new way of telling fairy tales that we are done with, right? We've had a decade of those, and they can keep trying to put out movies like that, and they're not going to work. That sarcasm and cynicism doesn't work. This is a new language being spoken here. It's Princess and the Frog really was the end of the traditional Disney old school and Renaissance musical, and Rapunzel is this gateway into a very brand new and a very refreshing way. It is definitive revival, right? We have revived the traditions of the musical, of the fairy tale adaptation. I think even more so than if we want to go beyond this into something like Ella Enchanted or Enchanted. I know that's weird that those two movies exist, but those even have that slight sarcasm and cynicism that isn't homage more than mocking, right?
Right.
And there is a little bit of that less homage and more mocking we'll get from another film in this library that verges into a territory that I don't feel honors what came before. I think Tangled honors the traditions while making them something new.
Yeah, because obviously, going back to like what you were saying, like the opening of this movie is our storybook opening. It is the opening narration. The only thing we're literally missing is the book opening, and having Flynn start narrating stuff. They didn't go that route. They could have. They could have so went that route without a problem. But they decided to kind of update it a little bit and have it just be a narration and a fun kind of like a kind of a fun narration. But we actually see the visual happening. We're not just. That's not just like a silent backstory portion with no narrator, or it's not just still frames from the books.
You don't rip the page out and wipe your butt with it. Anyone remember that's how Shrek starts? Just want to. I swear to God, that's my last dig. I'm done.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm actually annoyed with myself that I keep bringing it up. But I'm going to finish by saying I will finish my last mention of DreamWorks and how they handle fairy tales with reinforcing what I'm saying now, that we are in it's done. Tradition is done, okay? And to honor that, we have Tangled, and Tangled pays very, very great love to what has come before, while saying now we have to do things differently and not in that cynical way. And that's we can't get fairy tales like we did before anymore. So much so that the one fairy tale that I've developed based on my love of fairy tales, it makes me have just huge amounts of anxiety and self-doubt that I even should have ever done what I've done because of But then again, maybe I'm just giving Tangled too much credit. I don't know.
I mean, Tangled is really pretty awesome. So
this movie is a rogues gallery of some of the best of the best. You have John Lasseter on production. You have Glenn Keane in charge of animation. Dave Fogelman is the writer of this, who has recently gained some notoriety and fame with This Is Us as the creator of that show.
Oh, yeah.
And he also wrote Cars 1 and 2, and he wrote Bolt. Oh, no, did he write Bolt? Yeah, he wrote Bolt. And Alan Menken on music. Just those four guys combined. It's unbelievable. And if I can talk about Glenn Keane, the master of all masters, this movie had a $260 million budget. This is the most expensive animated feature film. 260. That is more than Man of Steel. That is more than early Marvel movies budgets.
Yeah. But you know what? It was not wasted.
No.
It was totally worth all the money that was spent.
It's because this goes to a tradition of this entire library. This goes to tradition of Disney Studios. New techniques were demanded by Glenn Keane for this film. Because you had said maybe that they were aware of the limitations of CG versus 2D in terms of comedy, right? Glenn Keane, this was his edict. When he said, okay, we're going to do this film, we're going to do it CG, we need to have the computers bend to the artist, not the other way around. And they designed new algorithms and new techniques to hand draw this film using computers, as opposed to forcing the hand-drawn animators to have to bend to the will of the computer. They made the computers bend to the will of the humans, which is why this movie probably cost over $250 million to make.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm sure a lot of that money went into like just like research and development. You know, like all the R&D in order to make the computers do what they needed it to do in order for them to get what they wanted out of it.
He wanted to have the multi-pane system via CG. He wanted to create brush strokes so that you could see the details in the lines through CG. Like the amount of work that went into developing this film is unbelievable, and it's because they wanted it. They could have taken shortcuts. They could have done what they've been doing, but no, they wanted it to be better. This is the 50th film. It deserved this sort of attention.
Right. And honestly, like the other thing that I was thinking about, that improvement in the technology, I mean, we were only 2 years prior, when this film came out, 2 years prior was Bolt. You know, 5 years before that was Chicken Little. It's only been 5 years. And now while Chicken Little didn't look bad, Chicken Little definitely looks dated in its CG. Tangled looks beautiful. Like, it's gorgeous. The entire film is gorgeous. It's great detail, great animation. You know, like when they're wet, but water's hard to do. When they're wet in the cave, they look a little. It looks a little like ever so slightly off. But then they go underneath the water when they're swimming to their safety. They're underwater and there's particles floating in the water, and it's just it looks right. It looks gorgeous.
They created in the depth of field. They created a haze in the distance. Right, so that like you know when you're looking in your reality, if you can see miles and miles, there's a haze in the air. They created that in the animation. The camera work in this. I talked earlier about that dam sequence. The cinematic camera work in this is on the level of live action. My favorite shot. It's such a simple one. It's when Flynn and Maximus are racing out of the kingdom out of Corona to get to Rapunzel, and the camera swoops towards them. Yeah, it's the helicopter shot, and then swings around and watches them go. It might be a simple shot in terms of camera technique, even in real life, but it looks so neat.
Yeah, it's so neat. They did a fantastic job at kind of like recreating some of those, and it's like some of the flaws in actual filmmaking, you know, when things like leave camera or they're not perfectly centered, like there's a couple moments where that happens. And now keep in mind, everybody, this is a CG film where everything is digital and you can make everything perfect, but they don't. They let things kind of slip and slide out of camera like a real film would, like live action would. And it's done so well. That attention to detail is so amazing.
If you want to focus on anything next time you watch this, just to appreciate the level of detail that went into this, look at Flynn's stubble and look at the eyelashes and the freckles on Rapunzel.
Oh, yes.
And just the hair in close up. Especially like Flynn's sideburns, or your sideburns are growing and you must be really happy about those. Like and it's funny, why wouldn't hair be the most important thing that they developed for a movie about a girl with magical hair?
I know, right? If they got anything right, it was that.
So Candace's hair right now is like down to nearly her knee at this point, and she's looking at Rapunzel's hair going, that would be so heavy. And then when it gets wet, she's like, she'd be dead. And I kept having to go, Candace, it's magic hair.
That does seem to change length a little bit throughout the film.
I think they agreed
seems to kind of bounce back and forth.
I think the animators agreed it was 70 feet long, which is insane. And it would weigh 10.5 pounds.
It would just be yanking at your skull all day long.
I love the moment when they go into Corona, and it's the celebration in the market or in the city, and she's like, "Oh, my hair!" And then Flynn sees the little girl's like, "Hey!" and the little girl's like, "Ee!" and they braid it. And actually, that whole sequence is brilliant. Like I love a good montage that doesn't feel like a montage.
Right. And that sequence doesn't feel like a montage at all.
Like oftentimes a montage will me having seen, I don't know, countless movies, a montage will often hit and I'll start singing the montage song from Team America. Like, if you want to pass some time, your montage. But with this, it's a very nice development of Flynn and Rapunzel and Pascal and Maximus when they're by the fountain and Flynn's kind of giggling googly eyes and Maximus elbows him and he's like, yeah, all right, come on. To continue off of camera work and just our obvious praise for this movie, there's some great motivated cuts in this film as well, and I keep saying I'm going to talk about the language of film, and I'll get to it, but there's some great motivated cuts, like when Mother Gothel says, "You'll know it when you smell it," and it boom cuts to Maximus sniffing the ground. Right? It's motivated cuts like that might seem, oh, that seems obvious, but more often than not, it's just cut to the next scene, or cut to establishing shot, start the next scene. When you can skip an establishing shot and not lose the audience, that's some pretty expert filmmaking, and that's a credit to the director to do stuff like that. Through the course of this movie, there's some really neat, motivated cuts in the editing. Good stuff.
Well, and a lot of times the editing works to help with the comedy, like that's definitely half of it. The cut back to reactions, and just. Again, that whole montage scene of Rapunzel trying to put Flynn inside the cupboard is all it's funny visually, but it's also funny, comically because of the timing of the shots, the cutting into. Yes, so good. That scene is just brilliant. I can't help myself. That scene's the best thing ever.
She knock? Oh, I love when she's like, "You'll never find the crown. It's in that pot, isn't it?" Bang.
And I love that they don't even show her hit him. It cuts out to a wide of the tower, and you just hear it.
Yeah, and
then the smash cut back.
How do they cut out of it? Pascal's tongue is in his ear again.
It's just in. You don't see him stick it in. Yes, which is just perfect.
And he rubs his elbow. Stop doing that.
I love it so much.
Something I noticed this time that I hadn't before is that he constantly calls Rapunzel Goldie and Blondie, and he calls her by nicknames instead of calling her by her real name until he tells her his name. Because after that point, she only calls him Eugene, and he actually calls her Rapunzel. I'd never noticed that before this time around, because I was making a checklist of how many nicknames he gives her, and after that moment, he doesn't call her Blondie or Goldie or anything like that again. He actually calls her Rapunzel. And it's that because they experienced near death together, that I feel like there was an element of trust and respect earned. That's a neat little detail.
Man, I completely missed that. That is awesome.
And then there's the death on screen. We get a second movie in a row where a character literally dies on screen. And that is really something. I had mentioned it earlier as a scene that always chokes me up, and it's worth mentioning that we see a character die from a stab wound to the stomach on screen.
On screen. Which every time that happens in this movie, I always forget it's gonna happen. So when it happens, I'm always taken back just a little bit because I forget that Mother Gruddle. That I forgot that she does it. So it always takes me by. It takes me it takes me a little bit to when it happens. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
It catches you off guard. Oh, look at that!
It catches me off guard. Thank you. That's what I was. That is exact. Yeah. See, guys, this is why TC and I are the same person. Yeah. He knows what I'm trying to say. He understands me. He speaks Jeff.
I totally speak Jeff. We've just spent an hour praising this movie, and I think that it's fair to say we know where we're going to rank these, but I just think that there's something so special about this film and about these characters and about this is a great 50th film. Sitting now watching these movies again with you, Jeff, in order 1 to 50. When the little speed bumps along the way where it's like, oh boy, that was a misstep. I'm glad Home on the Range wasn't the 50th movie. I'm glad, something like Oliver and Company wasn't a landmark number as well. Why is 50? I guess we give the significance to the number 50. 50 itself is not a significant number, but it's a monumental moment in this library to hit, and I'm so glad it's a movie that's so good.
Right. Absolutely, because it really could have been it would have been so much more depressing if it was Home on the Range.
Yeah.
Like, well, they made 50 movies, and well, what's the 50th movie? That
No
it's
coming.
not very good. Yeah, it's not exciting whatsoever.
Maybe that's why they cut movies from this library from time to time, because we forget Wild is part of this list in the United Kingdom.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
So
Jeff,
I do have one, TC, I do have one normal conversation question. It's not what you think it is.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I do want to ask you this one question because I thought about this. So Pascal knows Rapunzel's hair has healing power.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Now, why do you think Pascal knows that?
Huh. Well,
Question.
Yeah.
Let me if I can seed a possibility here. Let me know if this is crazy or not.
You know what? Let's play theories. Is this delving into theory territory?
It's a little bit of a theory territory.
Because I got a theory for you. Okay. So
I am very excited.
Give me the Pascal. No, we don't have to talk like this. I was getting very whatever. Pascal, what's your theory? Go. Plant that seed.
Chameleons only live 5 to 10 years.
Oh.
Is it possible Pascal was saved and brought back by Rapunzel's hair?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's why he knows.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we don't know when she got Pascal. She might have Pascal might have honestly only be a couple years old at this point in this film.
You know what?
Because he never showed up. Like, we didn't see Pascal when she was a baby.
No, of course not.
So that's obviously he's not 18 years old.
No.
But do you think that's how he knows?
Yeah, I am going to reinforce this theory with the fact that Pascal hides from Mother Gothel. Because if he had been a dead chameleon and Mother Gothel would have been like, oh, get that thing out of here, and then Rapunzel brought him back, she'd be like, okay, I brought you back. Don't let Mother see you.
Right.
So that lends credence to this theory. Oh, that's, yeah. I guess I don't know much more evidence you could build off this theory, but I like it. Because
I was trying to figure out when that moment happened. I was trying to figure out. I'm like, well, so how does he know? How does he know her hair has healing powers?
Well,
obviously, she's probably gotten hurt. She's probably got scraped up, and then she found out that it heals herself.
Yeah, and he's in there when Mother Gothel's combing her hair and doing the magic, so he's witnessed it working.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if maybe something happened to him, and Rapunzel helped him and brought him back.
Yeah, I like that idea, and it's reinforced by the fact that he is so get out of sight. Don't let her see you. Huh,
yep,
there you go. I like it.
Interesting theory.
I'm sold.
All right, cool. TC, what is your theory?
Okay. This. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give it now. Okay,
good.
All right. So the original, based on the time periods that this movie takes place in, and the one I'm gonna connect it to.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the theory. Everyone knows the theory that this is connected to Frozen. The assets were available. They're at the best day ever, whatever. Yes, we know that Frozen and Tangled take place in the same universe. Got it. No qualms about that. But I posit this: could Rapunzel's mother be Belle?
Interesting.
The silence is us thinking. The podcast did not end there. Okay. Think of
Spoiler
Rapunzel's
alert,
love for
episode's done.
books. Think of Rapunzel's love for books, all right? Rapunzel has green eyes. Her mother has hazel eyes, all right? They're that weird greenish brown. So does Belle. Belle also has hazel eyes. One might argue they're brown, but other people might argue they're green, and I say that makes them hazel by the fact that people can't decide what color they are.
So then, if she's Belle, so does that mean that the king is Prince Philip, or not Prince Philip, is Beast?
Is Beast, Matthew, yes. Or
it's
Adam.
Matthew, yeah.
Adam. Yes,
Adam.
that's my theory, that Rapunzel is the daughter of Beauty and the Beast. What do you think?
Interesting.
Can this? I don't have much support for this, other than the fact that magic flowers have existed before in Beauty and the Beast.
That is true.
So that's how I'm trying to strengthen this argument.
Trying to think here, and that could be, interesting. I'm trying to like run through.
Yeah, you can. You don't have to. We don't have to come to a conclusion. I'm just throwing it out there. If you guys like that idea, toss it in the comments section.
Let us know in the comments about that.
Facebook.com/TopShelfPod, where every Monday when we are going to record, we throw up the episode for you guys to comment on, and then come back on Wednesday where this is airing, and you can comment there as well and react to things we said. Like, does this theory hold water, Jeff? Your theory holds water. Does my theory hold water?
Well, let's get a glass and see. Bad jokes. Bad jokes are fun. But dang, now I'm gonna have to do some thinking about that theory because I'm intrigued. I want to see if there's more that we can pull that can support that theory because that's a fantastic. Interesting concept.
I'm glad you like it. I want you to dwell on it a little bit, but I'm just going to toss out real quick. Yes, absolutely, 100% show this movie to your kids. Show it to little boys. Yes. Show it to little girls. Show it to your dog. Show this to your little chameleon. Your frog, it's a chameleon. Semantics. Okay.
Randy Newman. Sorry.
The fact that it's called Tangled was a brilliant move by production. That it's as much about Flynn as it is about Rapunzel. That's why they didn't want to call it that. And there's some great lessons in this, some great humor. It's not so dark that I feel there's scarier movies in this library.
Oh, yeah,
and there's
absolutely.
Even Renaissance movies have a bit more darkness than this movie does. But it still has some good thrilling moments to it.
The darkest moment would be Mother Gothel's death.
Yeah. Where'd she go?
I think honestly, that moment maybe when they're potentially drowning in the cave, but her death is probably the darkest moment because she's aging rapidly.
Yeah. What have you done?
And then she falls out the window and ages so much she just dissolves into dust.
You know, she should have drank the hair because Rapunzel's mom didn't age very much compared to her dad.
Rapunzel's mom looking good for her age, however old she is. Don't know how old she is. She's at least 18 years older. Hasn't aged a bit. Of course. Yeah. See, now that's the question. So the flower brought her mom back from death. Mm-hmm. Now, did it stop her aging at that point?
No, I think it slowed down her aging process. I'm going to go with that because it looks like she did age a little bit, and Dad stressed himself into gray hair, but. So yeah, watch this with your kids. It's got some great stuff to it. I don't know if there's too much to be discussed in terms of lessons to be had, but at the same time, there is the conversation of, you know, what do you do once you achieve your dreams? Well, that's the best part. You get to dream something new. Like there's that line in itself has something wonderful to it, in that you could bestow upon your children, and at the very least, the kids are gonna love Pascal and Maximus.
And Maximus. They're gonna at the least they're just gonna laugh at the entire movie and like the songs and sing the songs. I know my nieces enjoyed this movie to death. This was one of those that Uncle Jeff happily watched with his nieces
over and over again.
Multiple. Yeah, I'm like Tangled again. Let's do it. Come on, guys.
And it's something. Why does this movie not annoy people like Frozen does? We don't have to go into a Frozen conversation right now, but I'm just curious why that's a thing, and we'll discuss that when we get there.
Okay.
Tropes, Jeff. Perpetually barefoot character.
Yep.
Does
animal sidekick of the
protagonist.
Yes.
Does she fall to her death? Does this count or does it not count? Because I don't think it counts.
It's tricky. She does fall out the window while still alive.
Did we have a half? Didn't we have a half of somebody on this list?
So this complete the half. This might complete that. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go through my notes because I think we did. Where it was like it's kind of it's that
a
one.
It's a half.
It's a half. I'm gonna have to go back through my notes and find that trope because she does fall out the window, and if she didn't completely disintegrate by the time she hit the bottom, she would have fallen to her death. So it's kind of like both. And then also orphan protagonist.
Flynn? Yeah, because he grew up in an orphanage. Nice.
Yes, he did.
See, you always catch me on those. You catch me on some of these that I'm like, didn't even consider. Eugene Fitzherbert.
I love that name too. Mm-hmm. I love his name is Eugene. But those are my four. Those are the four tropes that I had found. You had said the perpetually barefoot protagonist, which is true. This is like just it's all my favorite tropes too.
It is.
If you haven't realized, it's the villain I'll still say it's the villain falling to their death. It's the orphan. It's my favorite tropes, all in one movie.
Yeah,
Guys, I kind of like this movie.
Well, the fans seem to love this movie too. We got just praise from everyone. I don't see one bad word about this movie over at Facebook. Like I said, we put the episode up before we're going to record. Kim, Casey, obviously, there was no doubt about this. She says with many exclamation points, one of my fave Disney movies. Natasha, who I mentioned earlier, pointed out. What did she say here? Next to Beauty and the Beast, this is her favorite Disney animated movie. Flynn's sarcasm, Rapunzel's determination to take control of her life, like Tiana, and she's not looking for a prince or love. She finds that amazing. And then she also mentioned the hair earlier about Mother Gothel, which was well caught, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Scholl says one of his favorites, the duet between the two leads, is possibly one of the greatest Disney songs. Yes. And going back to origins of adapting a fairy tale and making it Disney, fun film, Brad Garrett, Chuck, Mandy Moore. What more could you want?
Agreed.
Sarah Bigelow says, I prefer Tangled over Frozen any day. Plus, I See the Light is the best addition to the Disney songbook in years. Never got around to seeing it in theaters, but that scene alone with the gorgeous floating lanterns makes me wish I had. Oh, yes, you're not wrong. And Candace caught, I did not catch this, and maybe other people have, but I did not catch this. The lantern that's drifting down that she lifts back up has the royal seal on it. It's her parents' lantern.
Oh,
Candace
I missed that.
I'm like, you got to kid. I rewind. I'm like, yep, there's the royal seal. Well, royal seal. Well caught.
Oh, I completely missed that.
Now I See the Light. Such a good. Yes. Thank you, Sarah, for listening. Thank you for commenting. Wyatt's our devoted fan, Wyatt here. He has quite a bit to say. I'm going to just skim it real quick. He mentions Glenn Keane as a god of animation. He has a question here. If we will indulge him. Of the yodelers and or polka performers in the Disney library, we have the Seven Dwarfs, Alameda Slim, the Pub Thugs, love it, of the Snuggly Duckling, and maybe he's forgotten another. Who do you think performed it best? Snuggly Duckling.
Yeah. I mean, not that the other ones were bad, but this one was just, it was good. No, this one was the best.
Hands down.
Just hands down.
I mean, the dwarfs do a very fine job, but I'm not running to that on my playlist.
No. I will run to this one though.
Yeah, and Alameda Slim.
I got a dream.
Alameda Slim that's literally the only impressive thing about Home on the Range is his yodeling, I guess.
Yeah, and even that's not the best.
No, it's not. No.
Stop trying to give that movie any kind of positive.
Let's stop referencing it. He does say that I mentioned earlier he liked all the songs, but the song that he doesn't quite feel is "When Will My Life Begin." He doesn't feel fits quite the rest of the film. Fine. That's your opinion.
I mean, you're wrong, but
no, but it's fine. It's fine. You can have your opinion, but it's wrong. Aaron Williams says back in the Renaissance, he was trying to predict what the next princess story would be, and he guessed Rapunzel. So it was very exciting for him to see that come to fruition. When he saw this at the time, he had his little blonde daughter, and they hadn't cut her hair yet. So he would joke with her that he would lock her in a tower to keep that pretty little princess away. You're the villain, Aaron. I think that's what you're admitting here.
Aaron is Mother Gothel.
Yeah.
That's what you just admitted to.
And Thomas shows some love for Pascal, even having a framed drawing of Pascal, which he gives visual reference to.
Yeah, and is awesome, too. That's so cool.
I wonder if, is he personally for me at Disneyland? Okay, so he got it from Disneyland. That's awesome. Great. My favorite place in Disneyland is Off the Page, which, if anyone's ever been to Disneyland, it's the animation store / attraction where you can just sit and watch the press. Anyway, it's amazing. Google it. And finally, Scarstar says,
Scarstar!
All caps, Maximus for best Disney horse. Yes.
Hex. Yes.
So thank you for the comments here. Jeff, of all the Disney movies we've watched,
I knew that was going to happen.
Is this hard? I mean, we both know where this is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do need to say something, though.
Oh, okay.
I had a little bit of a hard time deciphering or deciding exactly where this movie was going to sit.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about between first and second. Spoilers, guys, it's number one.
It's number one.
I'm sorry.
So between Lilo and Stitch and Tangled, hey, look, I know sometimes I get a couple tweets. People are like, "How dare you put this above this?" And it's always, I always have to remind you, and I'm sorry for our devoted listeners who've heard me say this ad nauseum. Sometimes it's a fraction. Sometimes
it's a fraction.
And in this case, I'm sure, in as punny as I mean it, it's a hair's length of distance.
Rim shot. And no,
I'll let you please explain for your taste why you're bumping it above to the top spot.
It's a fraction. It's the tiniest little fraction above Lilo and Stitch, because Lilo and Stitch is a brilliant film. It's emotional. It's about family. It's about, it's got real, true meaning behind Lilo and Stitch. And it's hard not to love that film. It's got great comedy. It's got great moments. It's got great songs and music and characters. But at the end of the day, I would immediately put Tangled on, because there's just, Tangled is more of who I am as a person. Mm-hmm. It's my taste in movies. It's got the physical humor. It's got great sight gags. It's got well-written dialogue, that makes me laugh. It makes me feel good. It still can bring an emotion out of me, because that was the thing, is that I'm, again, Stitch standing in that opening with the Ugly Duckling book going lost, just going lost. It's making me tear up just thinking about it right now. Like, honestly, that is so emotional and so sad, and I hate it and I love it at the same time. But so does this movie. This movie makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, like with I See the Light. Like, it's a great song, and it's like Tangled is like number one on the list. Lilo and Stitch is like 1.0000010, like 5. Okay, like that's how close this is.
Yeah,
we can't have ties, so it has to be number 2. Otherwise, it would be tied for first.
And I'm placing it my number 1 as well, for much of the exact same reasons you have just stated, Jeff. There is an epic quality to this film, and that's not to diminish the quality of Lilo and Stitch. There's more of an intimacy in Lilo and Stitch, and it's a much more intimate story. It's a much more real story. It's a much more human story, despite being about aliens. But in my pure love of escapism and the adventure and what film can do to the imagination, I have to give it to Tangled. Like, no doubt about it. And even watching this entire library and just watching these 10, as special as Lilo and Stitch and Princess and the Frog are to me, Tangled is this refreshing breath of fresh air, that every time I watch it, I feel this joy. It makes me want to tell stories. It makes me want to craft cinema like movies like that. And I love Lilo and Stitch. It's been number 1 this entire chunk of 10 for very good reason. And it stands as one of the best of the Disney movies. But when it comes down to the traditions of Disney, when it comes down to the traditions of animation and their accomplishments through the course of these films, Tangled does something so special and so wonderful that I had to make it number 1. So there you go. So for better or for worse, there's our list, guys, with only one movie, 2 movies out of place from each other, which is, I think, our closest list yet.
Dang you, Chicken Little!
Well, Jeff, what? Okay, let's discuss this now, because we've just finished our section. This is our 5th section of 10.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
What did you think of this 10? Like, what are your feelings coming out of this 10? I have quite a bit to say, and I'll let you go first. I don't want to hog all our time. But what did you think about this section?
It was definitely it was another one of those weird sections. I think the last one for us, and I'm just kind of skimming through it here real quick, would have been our third round. That definitely that spanned this giant chunk of time, not necessarily this one. This one only spanned, what, 10 years, I think, at most.
At most, yeah. We go from...
Yeah, because Emperor's New Groove was December of 2000, and this is 2010. So
Yeah.
10 years for this one. But the quality of the films, the changeover from 2D to 3D animated film, the evolution of Disney attempting to find itself while it's simultaneously being lost amongst other successful companies and properties, but then finding its footing and going, no, we figured it out. Here it is. This is what we need to do now, and being correct. It was a fascinating 10 to watch that evolution of the company, to have a company like Disney have that second evolution, and in less than 20 years, because the Renaissance era was the late 80s, and that was, we're in 20, so I guess, sorry, 30 years, but in less than 30 years to have them go through this again, trying to figure out what to do to make themselves better, and us ending with them having succeeded and having them found their foot is it's so fascinating to watch them try, and new people are coming in to shake things up when Lasseter are coming in. Like, it was a very fascinating 10 films to watch. I'll leave it at that.
It was. For me, this wasn't as rocky of a road as I was expecting in watching these 10. With Lilo and Stitch and the surprise of Bolt, and especially Princess and the Frog and Shirley Tangled, with the rest, this is the weakest 10. Like, when I look at the 10 in the 10s that we've watched, I thought that first era was going to be weak when I look at the wartime era, but no, you got Bambi, Fantasia, Snow White. What else is in there? Just the classics. Even one of the packaged films. # packaged films.
Hashtag packaged films. Yay!
Yeah, it's the weakest of all the 10 that we've had and will have all the way through viewing of this library. There's several reasons for this. Okay, and I'll definitely want to discuss this in greater detail when we get to our final episode of this show. But for this era in particular, I think the second Dark Age in the beginning. So this is the second Dark Age and the beginning of the revival, right? This was a growing period, and not just for Disney, but in animation and cinema. In movies themselves, to go from 2000 to 2010, this was a transformative decade of cinema. And I don't want to make a whole thing of it right now and here now, but it goes without saying, because things really changed because of the attacks on September 11th.
Yeah,
the 2001 September 11th, 2001, when the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, when those attacks happened, things changed, and movies in the past 10 years came out, like the past 10 years of these animated films that we've watched came in a period of dynamic and dramatic change in the types of movies that are made, and that the types of movies people want and love, and most importantly, the heroes of films like these. Right. When I think of this whole library, Jeff, and again, I'll go into this greater detail when we get to the final episode, but it's something that really struck me in watching this now. Consider the heroes of these 10 films. These are flawed heroes that need to change in order to find what they need. It goes to want and need, which is what Princess and the Frog talked about, and it's what Tangled talks about as well in its lyrics. The heroes of the past, Cinderella and Aladdin, and going back to Snow White's, look at the entire library. These are characters that needed to stand firm in who they are and wait for the world to figure that out, that they aren't going to change. And the heroes and protagonists of these 10 films had to change in order to find who they are. And that's, surely you could pinpoint a couple of characters from before this 10 that had to do that. But look at what Cusco had to go through. Look at what Jim has to go through in Treasure Planet. Look at what Rapunzel has to go through in Tangled. Look at all these characters. These are characters that had to change who they are in a world that wasn't going to change. And that is very reflective of the era that these movies came out with.
Huh.
You know, are there more flawed heroes than the ones in these chunky? Yeah, probably. And are I don't know. I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to say here. I hope I'm doing okay. There was a shift.
I'm enjoying it.
There was a shift in the way we, as filmgoers, absorb media and entertainment. And that is reflective in how much the language of film has changed since 2001 and in the decade and a half since. And again, this is something we can talk about when we reflect on the entire library of movies. But it's worth pointing out, at least for these 10, that like we did when we watched the hashtag package films, what the impact of the world had on Disney animation.
Right.
And as soon as they stopped trying to compete with other companies and started trying to find their own voice again, look at what that revival came fast, it came hard, and it came amazing with Tangled. So just watching the growing that has happened in these 10 films, it was a greater dip in quality to a spike in quality
right
than we've seen before, but and it might be equal to the previous Dark Age, but you know, I don't. What do you think about any of that, Jeff? I'm sorry to wax all poetic there, but it was something that it really dawned on me in watching these heroes and reflecting on these 10 films, what that era was, and it didn't cross my mind until I was writing notes for this episode.
Yeah, and you know what? That until you brought it up, it never really crossed my mind either. It wasn't something that I think I consciously knew that there was something different about these movies, but the connection of it being, like you said, the characters who need, you know, who either know who they are or need to change who they are, like with the rest of the world. It's a good representation of the type of world that we live in nowadays, post 9/11. Or, you know, right after that. That was, I can't say it nearly as eloquent as you can. I agree with what you said, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's going to continue through the remainder of this library. I think that those growing pains in trying to rediscover how we tell and present stories through film, through television, through media, I think those growing pains have worked themselves out to a point now where media and the movies we're going to watch are going to reflect society in a much different way, and in no less of a significant way, though. But yes, we only have 6 episodes remaining, Jeff.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have to commiserate. You used the word incorrectly before. We don't have to be sad just yet. We have what might be the hardest set left to go to rank.
I know. It's the shortest one. It's not even a full 10 movies.
Yeah. The most recent films are some of the freshest in my heart and mind. And are part of this continued revival. I don't think the revival era has ended yet. And this will not be an easy task, but I'm excited. Jeff, are you excited?
I'm very excited. There's only one movie out of the next 6 that we are watching that I have not seen.
Okay.
And that will be next week's episode, by the way.
Oh, I know what's next. Okay.
So, which I'll mention in a second. But I know these movies, and I'm just in the back of my head, or in the back of my mind right now, trying to rank them. And there's one that is a little easier to place on a list out of the next 6, but at the same time, I'm sitting there going I don't know. These are going to be tough.
Yeah.
But again, I am excited to watch them, having watched all these other ones in order. I'm watching them now from this new perspective of, well, we're coming off of Tangled, so let's watch this film to know what, let's see how coming off of Tangled affected this film. Or how is Wreck-It Ralph compare after coming after our next film? There's that element, and that's going to be a very exciting task to try to
we
keep in the back, to get through.
We no longer have the benefit of time nor nostalgia to discuss these movies. These next 6 are going to be so fresh in our minds, and I'm really going to encourage our listeners to give all of these movies a fair shake. Because, and I'm not just talking about Frozen, because I know several people out there have shared their feelings about hating that movie. You got to give it a fair shake. There's a couple people out there that dislike a couple other movies that we're going to see, and I'm gonna just we have to do it, and we have to be as fair as we can. I don't feel like we spend a terrible amount of time criticizing movies as much as we analyze them and then give our feelings about them, which one might argue is criticism anyway. But this is gonna be tough to rank because I know all of them are good in their own way, in one version or another of people's imaginations, and I know all of them are so fresh that this is gonna be. It's going to be tough, Jeff. What is next anyway?
Well, next week is now I believe this is a return to 2D. Am I correct?
Possibly.
Okay. Don't tell me more. But next week is 2011's film, which I didn't realize was in 2011 until literally just saying it. Winnie the Pooh. Number 51.
No, we are not rewatching a movie from this list.
No.
There are 2 Winnie the Pooh movies, which was a tweet I got this week from... I forgot your name. It's something... Oh, well. Anyway, yes.
How dare you, sir.
There are 2 different Winnie the Pooh movies, which was exciting and also a surprise to a listener. So
I'm excited to watch this one because this is the last one on our list that I have not seen.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
So after this, I'm back to I've seen all these other movies on our list, and like I said, they're all definitely, like you said, fresh in my head.
Yeah.
They're within the last 7 years, which is insane, by the way, that we're finally caught up to less than a decade old films.
Mm-hmm.
But next week's is number 51 on our list. 51, guys, of 56. We're closing in on the end.
As we near the end of things, send us some of your ideas of what we should do for the final episode. Some people have been giving some really cool suggestions. You can tweet at me at TC's Big Head if you want to throw some suggestions at me. Jeff, you're at Random Bell. Of course, you can hit us up on Facebook as well. Some people is like, what's your favorite blank? What's your least favorite blank? We will be ranking our number ones. So when we set out to do this library, instead of trying to rank 1 through 56, we've been doing them in sets of 10. We're going to take our number ones from all 6 sets that we've done. That gives us 4 wild card slots, Jeff.
Ooh.
So
and what are we going to do with those wild card slots, TC?
All right, cool. This is what I'm thinking. I think that we might be able to fill the 4 slots with movies we loved but ranked lower than 1. So we have 4 slots that we can fit with any movie. So what that is going to mean, and Jeff, you and I can discuss this because this will mean you and I will have 2 different lists of 10 different films. Like we won't be ranking the same 10 films because I'm going to pick 4 different movies. We might pick similar ones. I don't know. But right now I'm assuming our 4 wildcard slots are going to be different. And that'll be neat because it'll give us a very good testament of our taste and love of the films we've seen in these 56 films. So send us your ideas, dear listeners, and also what is your list? I mean, I'm curious to see where people rank. I always like to see where people. What is
everybody else's list? What did everybody else think about these movies? What were your favorite movies on this list? What were the ones you hated the most? I know we've had a lot of comments in the comment sections when we talked about certain films, but is there one that you just absolutely detest out of this list? I want to know that as well, and we'll try to read that last episode is going to be fun. It's going to be a nice little review of these 56 Disney films, and just it's gonna be kind of sad though. TC.
Maybe not as long as last week's episode. Why was last week's episode so long? I'm actually trying to draw this episode out now so it's long.
Because we're so close to it as it is.
Why was last week so long? You were sick as a dog. You started the episode by telling me you couldn't talk. And I'm like, it's cool. I only got a page of notes.
And yet we somehow talked for almost 2 hours, guys.
Well, I don't know what that was, but certainly I thought this was going to be the longer of the episodes. But
it would make sense for this to be the longer of the 2 episodes.
I am interested to see what people have to do for their 10 and their wild cards. And like I said, put anything you want on there. I think that's what we should do, Jeff, is fill those wild cards with any other 4 movies. So, like, for example, because I didn't have Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin as a number one movie, maybe I could slip that in as one of my wild cards, or like, because, you know, as a twist of just all circumstances, you put Jungle Book as one of your one of your 4 wild cards. You know, it'll be a whole thing. It'll be fun.
Wouldn't that be the shocker moment of me being like, guys, Jungle Book totally on my list.
I've come around to Jungle Book.
I've come around.
It's really good.
It's not that bad. I watched it.
I want to be like you.
It's like, so in the final episode, Jeff is just this diehard Jungle Book fan.
Yeah, you jungle bum.
I'm a jungle bum. That's what I am. All right, well, TC, if that is all that you've got for this week, like TC made a comment, make sure to leave all your comments on the Facebook page or tweet us. Otherwise, next week we'll be back for another episode with Pinocchio. Not Pinocchio. Wow,
Pinocchio.
We're gonna watch Pinocchio, guys.
Starting over.
Twist. Starting all over again. Dang nabbit, I was reading Pinocchio when I said that. We're gonna come back with Winnie the Pooh next week. And
right.
With that, I suppose thanks for coming back again this week, TC.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Jeff. Highlight of my week.
It's usually the highlight of mine, and it starts off on a Monday, which is kind of nice. Starts the week off high. Mm-hmm. But other than that, TC, go ahead and do the sign-off.
All right, this has been a podcast. We have been the people you've been listening to, and this is a sign-off.
Yay!
I'm getting real good at that.
You are getting good at that. Just about the time that we're going to be done with the show.
Yeah, so all 4 slots, I'm going to fill it with Jungle Book. That's what I'm going to do.
We should have made that specification. We never said that we couldn't use the same movie more than once. No! My neighbors hate me.
Oh, so much yelling over there. What is he doing?
This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.